Hi, welcome back to my channel. So this one is a little bit different. I pre-recorded myself doing the next installment of the build of my mansion build that I started on stream. I wanted to do it in my own time just so that I could relax and try and figure out what I was going to do. So this is that footage. Basically it turns into me just redoing the entirety of the colour of the build. So I went from the like white stone texture and it ended up changing to like a dark texture, which you'll see as I go on through the video. Initially my thought coming into this was that I was happy with the colour, I was happy with the choices I'd made, I just needed to spread it around the entire build and then continue around the back and figure it out from there. That was my initial plan. It didn't quite work out that way because I was not happy with the way that it looks in different lights. So I tried to find something that was still quite a pale colour, as you can see, but I just couldn't find the right shade. And then, like I say, in the end, it becomes quite dark. As I'm looking at this part here, and I'm picking the colours, in my head I'm thinking, actually, now we have glass walls. So you will see at some point that I do change the pool house area into like a glass walled area. I initially put this on and I quite liked it, like the deepness of the tone, but I'm pretty sure I changed this. I'm pretty sure I do change it. There's a lot of flip-flopping and a lot of changing in this video. Like I say, it was supposed to be sort of a continuation and more detail to it than I actually achieved, because I just wasn't happy with the choices I was making at all. So you will see a lot of changes and a lot of things happening. Little update on myself just while my past self is trying to figure out what wallpaper to use. I have not been streaming lately. I'm trying to get back into the rhythm of doing that, and hopefully I will. I'm thinking of making a Discord. Not sure how to go about that, but that's my plan. Just so there's like an area for you guys and for other people that join to just get to know the fan base and get to know you guys and talk about random stuff. So that's my plan going forward, and I'm really sorry that I haven't been streaming. I will make sure that I stream more often, but things like this, my plan is to continue doing like what I'm doing. So I will do another part to this mansion build, and I'll carry on renovating it. I'll do a speed build, and then I will just voice over the top and either life update you or build update you. It depends how much I get done. So this is the part where I was mentioning the glass walls, and it just added a certain, I don't know, a certain spark to it. And then I started to feel really good about this build because it just added a little bit of extra detail. So I really enjoyed putting the glass walls on there. I am debating changing the way that this patio looks, them gaps near the walls. I'm pointing to the screen like you can see what I'm pointing at. I'm debating changing those, but I'm not quite sure. So I did change some of the wall shapes when I was trying to figure out sort of the window colour. And as you can see, I messed up the roof a little. So then I tried to edit it, but then I realised that it pokes in. So I had to edit the entirety of the roof and change the shapes of them, change the jut out of them. And I keep noticing little things as I go around doing the wallpaper and doing the painting. I start to realise that there are things that need to be changed. So you will see me doing that as I go around. And I realised that adding kind of a trim would kind of help too, and it would like bring it all together. Again, the colours of this do change. By the end of this, the vibe of the whole thing has changed. I put that on a foundation and I can't remember why I made that choice, but I think it was just the fact that I didn't like the fact that it was flat on the back, and I preferred it with that. I changed the trim up, and I think this is where my thought process started being like, the darker, I love the darker aesthetic. So then this is where all my mind started changing. I do realise that because I've put the foundation on, that front part that I was just on then was supposed to be like a carport, or like the equivalent to a carport, and it didn't turn into that at all because it's now on a foundation, so you couldn't actually get up there. There's probably a way to do that, but I'm not quite sure how to do it, so I will have to explore that. I assume that it's probably going to be with a roof piece, but I don't know if I can get it to flatten enough to be the slope. But this is definitely where I started to realise that a darker aesthetic worked better. In my mind, I prefer the darker aesthetic. So I went round and changed everything, realised that this fence was randomly on the foundation, even though the other side wasn't. Weird. So I went around and just sort of edited everything and made sure that all the planter boxes weren't in a platform, like you can see there, and changed all the foundation pieces and whatnot. And again, like I say, it was the dark aesthetic. The more that I'm doing this, the more that you realise that actually I don't like the colour of the fences. And even around the back on the foundations, I started to be really unhappy with it. I think the more that I changed it, the more that I was like, no, I don't like that. But also I prefer it now that it's changed. I'm not going to say that it's not going to change anymore, because I probably will. You know what I'm like. It'll probably change the next part too. But I do really like the way that this turned out in the end. And now the biggest struggle that I'm facing is the floor plan. So if you have any ideas or any suggestions on the floor plan and what I can do to improve it or to change it or to, then please do let me know. So now I'm looking at the build, and this is where I realise that I'm not quite sure about the paleness of it. I don't think it's quite working for me. And that's where I started to think, how can I change this? Because I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with the way that things were looking. And then I tried to figure out like where things were going to go. And that's why I then started to put more sort of archways in and stuff, because I realised that I didn't actually know where I was planning on this build actually going, like floor plan wise. And I realised that I needed to start thinking about that and thinking about how it all sort of ties together. So now I'm removing all the inner walls because there's random boxes everywhere to, again, try and figure out the floor plan. So yeah, I removed all the walls. I thought there was a moment where I didn't remove all the walls, but I do remove every single wall in this place, just so that I can get a better idea of where I want things. So in my mind, the mindset that I had was that by this side where the glass is, it would be more of like a pool house. There'd be an indoor pool and then like a day room, which is the one that's fully glass. That'd be the day room. That's what my mind was thinking. And then this part of it would be like a sauna or bathroom or like something that would fit into that sort of vibe. But I just wanted to empty it out fully as a shell first. And then this happened, obviously, because it's The Sims 4. So I ended up with a lot of issues with the roof. So I removed the walls as I was planning to, and then realised that it meant that I would have to edit the roofs. Now, if that roof is skinnier, it doesn't work. So then I ended up changing to this type of roof just so that I could have it just against the wall and it work. So then that meant I had to go around and change every single wall throughout the entire thing. I'm not very creative with roofs, and I tend to struggle quite a bit to figure them out. So having to figure out how to join this corner piece on stressed me out. But once I did it, I felt like a genius. I felt like an absolute genius. At this point, I was like, yes, God, that works. So then I did it all the way around so that it wouldn't show the roof on any part of the build, because I knew that if I carried on removing walls on the inside, it was going to do the same thing over and over again. So you will see that I changed these roofs over, but I think it kind of works better because it has that sort of feel that I still had before, but it's a little bit more refined and the roofs don't kick off every time I take the walls out. So again, with this bottom one, I had to readjust that too. But like I say, I don't have much practice with roofs, and to be fair, most of the builds that I do are like smaller, more family homes and not mansions. So I'm not used to the way that the roofs react with multiple walls and multiple roofs, and trying to get that to work. So that's why you'll see that I'm sort of faffing around, but I was really happy with the way that it turned out and the way that I did it. I realised that I didn't like the fact that that roof was big. That might not seem like a big idea, but that's why I changed that, so that the corners would be the same and that it wouldn't be as big. These corners, I tested it, they disappear. Because my thought process was, if they don't disappear when that wall goes, then I'm screwed. Again, this side was the exact same situation, so I had to go around the entire building and figure out how to make sure that the roofs didn't mess up. So I was in the same predicament again, basically. But I just did the same idea, really, just on the roofs it didn't work. This one I just did all the way across. I didn't do any sort of corners or anything. Yeah, that roof, I'm pretty sure the glass roof changes to the tiles from Island Living, because I wasn't happy with the fact that it, like, there's like that portion that's against the wall. I don't like that. And the glass was like folded over each other, and I hated it. And the trims on the roof made it like have a line on those windows, but I wanted those to be glass. And I didn't know a way to rectify that other than to raise the roof so that it was aligned with the top of the wall. And I didn't want to do that because then the roof would have looked weird. So I'm pretty sure I changed it out for tiles. And I think this is where the dark aesthetic starts to come in, because I realised that I didn't like the roof. And then I tried to achieve that, like, Californian roof vibe with, like, the reddish roof. But all the reddish tones in The Sims are, like, really, really red. So I was like, it needs to be the like, this tinny type roof, but they're all not the right shade. The one that's on the most of the roof now, I quite liked that originally. But then when it was on the big part of the roof, I thought it was a little bit too much. So I went with this one. It's more tiled. It's got that vibe, but it's still like a darker aesthetic. And I preferred that over anything. And this is where I realised that the rest of the doors and everything needed to be dark. So I went with black. The issue that I had with these columns, when I tell you, I think I changed those columns like 4 times throughout the entire video, because I didn't like the way that the gold was on the top, because I wanted the gold, but then it started to look gaudy and way too much, and I didn't want this house to look like bad. I wanted it to look more aesthetically pleasing, so I knew that I had to edit it down so that it didn't look as crazy. I like the shade of gold that's on the fencing and the gate, but I didn't like the one that was on the columns. But the one that matches the gate looked too toned down for the columns. So it was a bit of a pain. Again, like I say, I go around and change all the trims to black. I realised that I preferred black over the brown. I think I changed the roof as well. I'm pretty sure I changed it all to black. And now I'm wondering whether or not I changed the wallpaper. I can't actually remember. But yeah, I go around and I put this black trim everywhere, and I'm starting to really, really, really like it. I do prefer the darker aesthetic on this mansion. I think when it was the lighter one, it was just too bright. The white was too bright. This is me faffing with the gate. And when I realised that that gate is what matches that column, hated it. Hated every minute of that. I was like, no, it's incorrect. It's incorrect. Get rid. And that's what made me change it. And then I changed the stairs. I originally wanted to put black marble, but there isn't like a black swatch on the marble stairs with Get Famous. So I changed that completely. And then I realised that because I'd done that, I had to go around and change everything. So this is me going around and changing absolutely everything, all the trims, all the roofs. So like I said, this video started off as it was going to be like, I'd do a couple of changes to the outside, but it'd be an interior start to the video, at least, just to sort of get the ball rolling and change it up. And then I basically changed the entirety of the outside. So then that went out the window. But I do prefer the darker aesthetic. I think it looks really cool. Oh my god, not me like not checking through the new items properly so that they're not checked off. But yeah, so I carried on with the interior from that point and started to remove the inner walls upstairs, just to get a better idea of the layout and the plan. I knew that there were certain parts that I wanted to be bedrooms just simply because of the balconies and those areas that I'd already created. So like this end, I believe is the master suite on that side because it's bigger, it's more luxurious, it overlooks the pool house. I thought that was quite vibey. At this stage, I'm pretty sure in a second, maybe not this stage, it stops allowing me to paint the walls. I've had this issue before, but it kept not working. So I was faffing and I was trying to figure it out, and then it kept clipping as if it was going to do it, and then it didn't. So then I started panicking more, and this is me going out of build mode into live mode, out of build mode, and I thought it was going to be a quick fix. I'd be able to do that, and it just did not work. I think in the end, I came off it completely into the main screen, and then jumped back onto it. So you'll see in a second there's a bit of a jump that happens, and that's because I literally came out of the game and loaded back in. And there you go. So now it's started to work. The reason why I was trying to do that is I was trying to make this wall like a glass wall, but in a pattern. I'm pretty sure I forget about that. I'm pretty sure I reject that idea. I kind of think I like the idea, but I'm not sure. And I spend much longer than I needed to creating this like aesthetic where there was multiple of these like in two sets. So it was fancy and then plain and fancy and then plain. And I liked it at first, and then I just completely changed my mind. So I'm pretty sure I cancel it all off. Which will please everybody. I'm absolutely sure it. Because I couldn't get it to be symmetrical, and then I realised that I needed to like put it back to how it was, basically. So that's what I did, so that it would be like even. And then I made that flat again. And then I was like, do I like that though? And I don't think I keep it that way. I don't think I do. Because I was like, oh, I could put a glass door there. But then I think I thought it felt too modern, and I changed it. I'm pretty sure. If I haven't changed it, it will be changed in the next part. Because now that I'm looking at it back, I definitely don't like it. If you're still here for this part of the video, I love you guys. I'm so happy that like I do have that following. Even though I haven't kept that consistency yet, and I do plan to. I really do appreciate you all so much. Yeah, I got rid of it. But I do appreciate the support, and I do appreciate sort of the excitement when I do start to stream, and I love that people are there to watch me and support me, and I appreciate everybody. And I will start to get more consistent. Now, I'm moving on to the outside. I realised that I didn't like the fences. Once I'd done everything dark, I realised I did it again. I'm back outside. I cannot make my mind up. I'm pretty sure I changed the stairs out for the ones that I put around the front as well. I do. So I go through and change all the stairs as well out the back. So basically I changed everything with the outside, the entire aesthetic. I'm pretty sure I changed the roof type as well. I'm still not done. This is just an outdoor video. It wasn't supposed to be, like I say, it was supposed to be a floor plan thing. I have taken screenshots of the floor plan that I decided to go with in my head, but look how much better that looks with the black roof and like the lighter coloured wall. I think it just looks so much better. Yeah, I just prefer it with the darker aesthetic. So then I started to do the floor plan. And I, like I said, I do like the floor plan, but I would like some input because I'm not very good at making floor plans at the best of times. But this is huge, and it was such a huge undertaking for me that I feel like I've missed something, or I feel like there's too big of spaces left. And I'm just not sure where to go from that. So I would really like some input in that. I'm thinking of submitting the posting the screenshots on Instagram and on Twitter just to get some sort of ideas and stuff, which I will do today. So if you do have any ideas on how to do the floor plan, please let me know. The one thing that I did know I wanted was an indoor pool. So I started to build the indoor pool in, and then I realised that I didn't know how big to make it, and I still don't know if it looks big enough. But I wanted to put these columns all around it, and my brain, my thought process is to have this like you know, like the old timey like indoor pools, and there's the columns and it's white marble and it's like that kind of aesthetic. That's what I wanted. And then the day room would be a similar vibe. That's what I wanted for the entirety of this pool area. So that's what I was trying to achieve, like with the columns and stuff. I used the same columns because I feel like it needs to be quite opulent. It needs to be quite like gaudish really. So I literally use the same columns, put them all around it, and then I'll put like little seating areas around it, obviously some like sunbed type vibes, and you'd come into it like that. It looks very backroomy when I go into this I'm trying to figure out the camera. It looks very backroomy now that I go into this camera mode, but I just wanted to see sort of the idea of going into it and like the day room and I really did like the way that felt. So I'm definitely keeping it that way. I removed those on this side so that I could put like the walkway and the seats and stuff like that, so there would be space. And And like I said, then I try to just build on a floor plan for the rest of the house. So I don't decorate that, but I just wanted to get the sizing right for the pool because I knew for 100% that I wanted that there. So again, I'm thinking through here like a sauna, bathroom kind of vibe, like shower room, that kind of thing, because you've been in the pool. You want somewhere to like wash off and relax and have a sauna. So that's what that's for. I don't know if I was telling myself or Stacey. Stacey was in the room at the time. I might have been telling her. I don't know. Unless it was like a mental process of like, that could be that. So yeah, because the main entrance is going to be up. So it's this floor and it's the main entrance. You would walk up the stairs, go through the main door. The downstairs, I kind of want to be shut off from the front, which is why I abandoned the glass wall and sliding door plan. Again, see, this is what I mean about the roof. I hated the way that line and the trim was in the wall, and I hated that. So I was like, I want it to be glass. So I remembered about the glass like parts. I feel like they should make like a glass roof, like ceiling tile, even if they don't want us to use it as anything else. I feel like they should do that. I was gonna make it like big and not do separate ones, but I just couldn't figure out how to do that and make it look aesthetically pleasing. In the end, I squish it down one square just so that it can be just 6 of these squares, and I don't mind the frame like being there. I think it's quite good because it is still supposed to be the roof, but it just looks slightly better in my mind. And this was me trying to figure out the trim for it because I wanted there to be that black trim, and I know that I have to put this on, but it wouldn't let me put it on with those on. I think I just give up at some point because it started to mess with my roof and it stressed me out. So I think I just gave up on that, if I'm honest. So yeah, I liked that. And then I moved on and I continued with the floor plan. I built it all up. I made sure that it was how I wanted it to be. And then I sort of stopped there, really. And like I said, I've taken screenshots, which I'll probably put at the end of this video, as well as posting into Instagram and Twitter to get your guys' opinion. So the video's nearly coming to an end, and I just want to say that I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the changes that I made. Feel free to give your input, like I say, so that we can apply that to the next part of this build. It's a mammoth build. It's so difficult. Honest to God, it's stressing my brain out, but I am really enjoying doing something really different. I hope you guys like it as well. It's not my first. It's not my first choice of a build, so I am struggling a little bit, but it's still quite fun. It's fun to do something different. And also thank you very much for your support, and hopefully, I can gain more of that support going forward. And I hope you enjoy this video. Please like, subscribe, share, do all the great stuff, and tell all your friends all about me. And join us over on Twitch for streaming. All the links are in my bio. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this build, me struggling my way through this glorious floor plan. And like I say, there will be screenshots attached to the end. So thank you so very much for listening, for watching, for being part of this great family. I love you all. Bye.